with that being said, I would like to introduce to you the one and only T-Boz as he prepares to inspire us with his words of wisdom and moments of meditation. Good morning, sir.
Hopefully with this heat, I don't perspire us, but night and day, you are the one. We're going to get into that in a minute. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Words of Wisdom, Moments of Meditation. Come on in. Hang on a minute. There's a challenge at the door. Excuse me. What's the matter, Dave? Oh, this couple? No, it's free, ma'am. Yeah, sure. Go. You can make a donation to the radio station. Go right up front. That's where all the good-looking people. Excuse me. It's free. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, yeah, right. You can always tell the new people. They always want to pay at the door. Jock is across the street. You see that? Look out the window. See the radio station down there? You can make donations over there, but this part is free and community service. So, morning, everyone. Friday Eve, as the big guy named it. And welcome in. Glad to have everybody here. Okay, quick little exercise. All the good-looking people stand up. Wow, look at that. It's amazing, Jock, what people do when you're holding a microphone. Look at that. All right, everybody can sit back down, say hello to the person next to you, and let's get rolling with our show. First of all, next week I will not be here. Lady Boz and I have a commitment, but there is a class assignment. That's why, yes, ma'am, that's why you got the pads and pencils. Everyone, oh, here comes my brother coming in late again. Hi, Miles. In 2 weeks, we have a class participation show. This was a recommendation from one of the listeners. And I want you to text me. All of you have my number. Text me a word. One word that either describes you or a word that resonates for you, maybe through good times or bad times or something that you went through, and describe it with 2-3 sentences top, please. I love all of you. I really do. But sometimes, you know, the texts get a little bit long, and I want to get everybody in. So in 2 weeks, the topic is going to be word. And please send me a word that best describes you. I mean, it could be something like perseverate. You know, maybe you're a perseverator. You keep perseverating. I don't know. Maybe that's a word. Maybe it's faith. Maybe it's hope. Maybe it's happiness, whatever it is. But don't perseverate over the word, but please send in a word. All right, let's go on over to Stan, the coffee man. Look at him, flip-flop shorts and a tank top. Man, you're looking real heat wave. Oh, Stan wants me to say something. Look at him. He looks, I mean, if he had like a big fedora, he wants me to make an announcement. 211. Everybody write that down. Please, if you need a cooling center or something, please, 211. That's a public service announcement. Take advantage of that. And also, Stan wants everyone to know, some of you guys are in the trades. You're not 18 anymore. It's not just the sun. It's the air quality. Please be careful, hydrate, take more breaks than usual, and if you can cut early, please do. So what do we got in the coffee pot today? Oh, hazelnut supreme. Oh, it smells awesome. And we have, oh, look what we have here. Sugar-free crumb buns. That is amazing because Stan knows we like, you know, to please everybody. And, of course, we have the fruit bowl. And what's this? Yogurt. Oh, the new lady just kind of feel like yogurt. Yogurt, very good. And all of this is sponsored by Angelina's Diner over there on Route 4. Please go over there. It's a small little place, cozy. Lady Boz and I have been there. And I encourage all of you to get there. Now, let's get to our shout-outs. We're going to get to the format and get rolling here. Shout-outs. Lady Boz and I had a Torrington weekend, and where did it start? You just heard Toho Lounge, night and day. And we were privileged to have Stan the coffee man, myself, and Jock took a picture. It was on my Facebook page. And Dominique is right. The food is amazing. Absolutely amazing. We had the turkey with avocado and all of that. The coffee is amazing. And the band, TMT, Myron and the boys were fabulous. And out of the audience, guess who? Jock Williams doing his Sinatra-style stuff. And he sounded amazing night and day. So there is things to do in Torrington. The next thing Lady Boz and I did, Friday, we got up, we went to the Filer House, the historical museum, built on a granite foundation. Guys, this stuff is right in town. It was worth the $20. We really enjoyed it. A beautiful, beautiful house that they built in 1902 for $64,000. They redid the bedroom a few years ago for $100,000. Good for them. So from the historical and the Filer House, then we went to the Tort Museum in Winstead, then back to the Berkshire for dinner. That was a blast. And then over to see the Little Big Band at Coke Park. So don't tell me there's nothing to do here, and don't tell me you're always driving the Great Barrington. We have Great Torrington right here. Wonderful things to do. Veronica said when she was at Toho Lounge, she felt like she was in like a Greenwich Village, this kind of village, like a Great Barrington. It was wonderful. Get your butts there. Hope is not enough that these businesses make it, boys and girls. They need something else beside hope. Cash. Okay, so get out there and support your local business and have a great time with your friends and family. All right, we all know that we lost a wonderful, wonderful entertainer, Tony Bennett, born in Oregon. August the 3rd, the same as Veronica's husband, but Tony was born in 1926. He was born Anthony Dominic Benedetto, and we know him fondly as Tony Bennett. We're going to start with a Tony Bennett quote. The topic today is passion, okay? We're going to start with a Tony Bennett quote, then we're going to hit the format and get rolling. So Tony Bennett says this: if you steal from one person, you're a thief. If you steal from a group of people, it's called research. That's what I do every week. Tony Bennett is what I do. I steal from all these people, and I get a lot of compliments. People say, boy, what great research you do. So if you steal from one person, you're a thief. If you steal from a bunch of people, it's called research. So what we're going to do is, because of Tony Bennett, we're going to examine passion. Tony obviously was a great singer, but he also enjoyed painting as well. And a lot of you might have saw those paintings on TV. And so my question to all of you is, what is your passion? Not your kids' passion, not your grandchildren's passion, okay? What's your passion? And we're going to find out. What is something that inspires you to move? My passion, a lot of you know, is square dancing. And this is what I mean by passion, all right? I love my grandson. I love my children. When my daughter showed dairy cows, a lot of you know I enjoyed that. That was her passion. I supported her passion. I financially helped that passion. But that was her passion, okay? The difference is with me, my passion with square dancing, here's the difference. When I was learning to square dance, I might have shared it, I spent over $2,000 in just the Uber fees to get there. And then I had no Wi-Fi, so Lady Boz brought her computer up here, and we would go to Big Y, Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's, and I would be dancing in there as she was showing me the different calls on the computer. So what I'm saying about passion is what drives you that you would look as silly as I did in these stores learning to square dance. That's the difference of your passion. When you go to support your kids' games, that's fine. That's loving that child. I hope someday Jackson says to me, Pop, you know what I really love to do? Bing, bang, boom. I hope his passion isn't, you know what, Pop? I just love to hang out with you. That's nice, but it's not enough to drive us to accomplish things. We talked about starting over. We talked about the 5 love languages, okay? Passion, if you notice these shows glue together, passion is purpose, is meaning in life. And so that's what I mean by passion. Willing to spend a bunch of money, look like a fool because of a bigger goal, because I wanted to be a very good square dancer. I am a good square dancer. I'd be a great square dancer if I could sing, but it's something that I love. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about your passion. We look at 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 15, and it says, it is by God's will that by doing good, you should silence the ignorant talk of foolish men. Boom. So if someone is telling you, you know, you this and you that and you this, close their mouth. People must have thought I looked like a fool spinning around, because obviously there's not 7 other people when I'm spinning around, right? And they must have thought that I was foolish. But it was God's will for me, I believe, to square dance, because when I square dance, when Lady Boz and I go to dances, oftentimes people come up to me and say, Boz, you inspire me because you can't see and you're doing this. So you take away all my excuses. I think part of the reason I learned this was to inspire other people to dance. And so God's will, we look into this unknown quote, and it says, there is no passion in life in settling for small or settling for less than the life you are capable of. Not your children, not your brothers and sisters, you. This show is about personal exploration, looking inward to make a better world, right, outward, okay? So we look at that quote, and it talks to us that passion, all right, is very important. We don't want to settle for less. We don't want to settle for small. I talk about my mother all the time. She definitely didn't settle for small. And she grew up in utter poverty. One day I'm going to put the picture of her and her family, Binghamton, New York, on Facebook. You talk about poverty. But my mother had a passion. And I'm sure a lot of you listening have parents and grandparents that had passion. Hopefully it's trickled down to all of you. Howard Thurman, okay, says, ask yourself, what makes you come alive? Wow. And he was an American civil rights mentor and leader, author and educator. So what makes you come alive? What makes you Jock? What makes you Keith? What makes you Catherine? What makes you Holly? You Miles? You Steve? What makes you come alive? Some of you, I know your career, we're going to talk about that too, makes you come alive. But there's got to be something more, okay? I had a great painting contracting business, brother. We did a good job. That's what I did. But that wasn't, I did a good job. You know what my passion was in those days? My late wife and I had a 67 Mustang, and we showed that beautiful car everywhere. When you talk about passion, the work that I put into that, the energy, the money, but it was enough that took us, and it was a family thing we did together. But after I got off the ladders on a Friday, my passion, we'd get up at 6 in the morning, and we'd get to the show field by 7:30, 8 o'clock, wherever they were. We'd have that car polished up. She would do the interior, I'd do the outside. And, man, we laid that car out there. It was a wonderful, wonderful time in my life, just like with Lady Boz and I with our dancing life. It's a different passion now. It's a different Tommy. Okay, got to be willing to change. So what makes you come alive? Matthew chapter 6, verse 21 says, whatever your silver your heart be. We said this before. It's so true. What do you treasure? What do you treasure? Hopefully it's not your job. Hopefully there's more in life than what you do. And it's okay to match your profession if it's something you love, but hopefully you make time. If you're working a job, you make time for the things you love and the things that drive you forward. Oprah Winfrey, and here's someone who's very successful. Passion, she says, is energy that comes from focusing on what excites you. Boom. And we got me with the square dancing. Okay, talked about me with the restoring the 67. What I had to do being visually impaired. You know what it's like to be visually impaired and to restore a car? But I overcame it, whether it was more lights, whether it was using different kind of paints, whether it was laying on my back instead of laying on my shoulder. Whatever I had to do to restore that car, I did it. Why? Because it excited me. And I didn't care what foolish men said. Speaking of men, night and day, it's 11:30. Talk about, that guy loves to sing. Jock, can you give us the mid-morning sponsors?
I sure can, T-Boz. And we want to thank the sponsor of the Feel Good Show, 5 Points Center for the Visual Arts, and 5 Points Art Center for allowing us to bring you the quality community radio programming that we're able to do at this time. You can check them out at 2 convenient locations, one in the heart of downtown Torrington at the 5 Points Traffic Circle, and 2 at 855 University Drive on the former Torrington Yukon campus branch, exhibiting international, national, and regional artists. And we thank them for their support. And with that being said, we return the floor back to T-Boz for more words of wisdom and moments of meditation.
More than the simple words I try. Next time at Toho Lounge, you and I are going to do it. I'm going to learn the words first. See, the lead singers always know the words. I played the piano. We didn't have to know the words. We just did the oohs and ahs. But more than the simple words. Talk about passion. You guys got to get to Toho Lounge and see Jock Williams and have that turkey sandwich. One quick thing, a little quick editorial note. Last week's show, I got a lot of comments, Jock and I, about the moon landing. And a lot of people texted me, and they saw me out in public, and what it said, you guys were the only ones, the only other station, I can't say the name, but my friend Father John is the general manager there. We'll leave it at that. But nowhere in the paper, no magazines, nowhere was this great American accomplishment. Like I said, the vision by John F. Kennedy, the late John F. Kennedy. But Jock and I put that little piece together. It was my idea. He did it. But I want to thank you all for recognizing that we did something that a lot of people, I hate to say this, should have done. But anyway, so thank you for that. Colossians, whatever you do, work heartily for the Lord and not for men. Boom, back to men, right? So in other words, we're passionate about our purpose. Aim it skyward. And even, when and I'm just going to keep talking about Jock, but when you see him sing, man, he's in a zone. And I know he's a man that loves God. And so I'm sure the talent that he has, he probably got from his mother and father, that he cultivated himself. When he sings, there's something there besides just singing. And I'll tell you another little thing about working for God. When I do this show, I don't care if there's one person listening, 100 people listening, or no people listening. I always pray before this show. And I'll tell you my prayer very quickly, and I say, Holy Spirit, fill me with the words that you want your people to hear. God, help me speak your words. I'm just the mouthpiece. Let me bring to this audience what you need them to hear. Every week I do this show before we go to air. That's what I do. Why? Because I've been given this opportunity, and it's been given to me through God, through Jock Williams. And so I pray, and some people say, well, it's just a little radio station. So what? Treat everything like it's a $100,000 a year job. Guess what? You'll be good at it. Okay, so I pray before I do this show. And I don't know how many people are out there listening. It could just be Jock for all I know. It doesn't matter. Okay, do whatever you do heartily for the Lord. Here's another great statement. Allow your passion, and this, I think of my friend Jim and my friend Fred with this, but allow your passion to become your purpose, and then your purpose will become your profession. So now this kind of segues a little bit what I said before. There are some people whose work is their passion, okay? And I know my friend Jim Fred was very good about when he was in IT, Jim with his business. They have been able to take their passion and turn it into work, their career. That doesn't always happen in most cases, but if you can do that, a hobby turned business, they say, is great. Benjamin Franklin, it's your passion. If your passion drives you, then let reason hold the reins. Boom. So we can be passionate about things, but we also have to, as we're going into something, maybe ask for an advisor, an advocate, a friend, or family member, someone to say, gee, I really want to maybe open a business. I really want to do this. I want to speak on the radio. And, not that you shouldn't reach for the stars, but, like Casey Kasem used to say, another great radio announcer, reach for the stars, but keep your feet on the ground. Okay, so as you're living a purposeful life, do things with your talents and the things that you're good at. Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Boom. So my question to you is, are you a dreamer or are you an exister? Are you just like a piece of driftwood just floating by and figured, I'm 50, I'm 60, I'm 80, just floating by? Yeah. Have you lost your passion for certain things? Have you lost your life purpose? Have you lost that zeal that you once had? Get it back. Get it back. Dig deep in your heart and your soul. Stop chasing everybody else and everything else. And again, I don't keep beating up on the grandchildren, but it's good to go to their games. But get back to what you were when you were 8 years old. when you were 6 years old? Where is that childish passion? What does Jesus say? Bring the childlike to me. Why? Because the child is open. We've been so fertilized by life that we become cynical, and then we lose the passion for what we have. So every great dream begins with a dreamer. Are you a dreamer or an exister? James Oppenheimer, the foolish man sees happiness in the distance. The wise man grows it under his feet. Boom. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for next year. I have a few friends that have been diagnosed with awful diseases. Their plans have been changed. Those of you in the audience, those of you here in the studio, those watching on Zoom, you're flesh and bones. You're not invincible. You're not Teflon. Stop saying someday. Get passionate. Return to that child. You were hitting that ball out at behind the armory there. What is that? Fuchsia's Park, and you thought you were Mickey Mantle. Get back to that. Dance in the driveway like you were and you thought you were a ballerina. Get that purpose. Like, be an idiot like me and spend $2,000 for Uber so you could spin around in a McDonald's. Okay? Romans chapter 12, verse 11. Do not lag in zeal. Be ardent in spirit. Okay? What does zeal means? Great energy. Ardent means enthusiasm. So our scripture is telling us what every Tony Robbins book has been telling us after that. Folks, everything you want to learn about life is in the Bible. Bible stands for basic instructions before leaving Earth. All of the stuff, and I like Tony Robbins, but all the stuff that they tell you and I tell you is based in Scripture. Let's get back to Tony Bennett. We talked about purpose. I've never worked a day in my life. Okay. Isn't that true? When you find something that you love, right? Like I do this show, it's not work. I volunteer. It's not work. I do this because I love it. It's a new passion. It's my passion. Okay, and I hit that a lot, and it may turn some of you off, but this show's about you, me, we. So I've never worked a day in my life. Do you feel like that if you're still working, or did you feel like that when you work? Philippians chapter 3, verse 4, passion. All right, the power of passion is purpose. So passion is power. What got me to learn to square dance was power and a purpose. What got me to restore that car, what got me to do this show is power. You have power within you. This scripture reading, let me go through this. It's kind of long. To the weak, I become weak. This is Corinthians chapter 9, verse 22. To the weak, I become weak, that I might win the weak. So you become one of them, right? That I might become the weak. I have become all things to all people, that by all means I might save some. Boom. That's what Jesus said. What is he talking about? He became like the other. He became all things for all people. But remember that song by Air Supply, The Best Part of Life is the Thinner Slice? He became all things that he saved some. Some of you with your purpose, you're getting beat down because you don't think you're having a big group following you. Doesn't matter. Jesus nailed himself to a cross to save some. He wanted to save all, but he knew that some wouldn't follow. So he became weak, changed, right? He became weak for all things, for all reasons, that he might save someone. So if your purpose or your passion is maybe not as big as you thought it should be when you started, so what? Maybe there's 3 or 4 people that are interested in what you're doing. Maybe there's no one. Maybe it's just you. So what? Keep moving. That's what they say. You can't steer a car this parked. Ferdinand Foch, he was a French commander. He says this: the most dangerous and powerful weapon is the human on fire. Boom. Guess what? We're the weapons of mass destruction. What are you talking about, Boz? We can destroy prejudice. We can destroy unfairness. We can destroy injustice. We have, as he said, Thurman said, we are the most powerful weapons on earth. We can get rid of the inequities, the unfairness that are happening to people, all these problems that we have. We are weapons of mass destruction, but not of good, but of evil, because we can tell foolish men to be quiet. Why? Because as Oprah Winfrey says, we're focusing on something that excites us, right? Benjamin Franklin used the reins a little bit, but get something, as Howard Thurman said, something that makes you feel alive. As long as you got a pulse, boys and girls, you got something to accomplish. We look over at Winston Churchill. I always got to throw Winston Churchill in there because my girlfriend is from England, and she says, Tommy, you want kissy poo? Get Winston Churchill in there. Courage is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm, right? So when you have your life passion, your purpose, sometimes as you're going along, it doesn't go the way you think it should. We talked about starting over, but don't lose that, Winston Churchill says. Albert Einstein says this, I am grateful for all those who said no to me because of this, I am doing it myself. Now, quick action, everybody to look at the person next to you. Ready? And on the count of three, I want you to say no, never, ever, ever. Ready? 1, 2, 3. No, no, never, never, ever. No, 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 no. Did anybody die in this room? No. So don't worry if people tell you no. People tell me no all the time. But what Albert Einstein says is he's grateful for the people that told him no, because in this way he found a way to do it, and he's doing it himself. This is a great quote. This goes a little bit against career, but Dennis Waitley says this, choose your passion, not your pension. Boom. Money is good. Money can do good. Money can fix roads. Money can feed the homeless. Money can clothe the naked. Money can build churches. Money can build hospitals. It's good. It's good. I'm not against it. All right? But don't run your life, like he says. Make sure your passion, if it's good, build your passion, not your pension. Don't worry if your passion is not an asset. Do something that you love. Mother Teresa went into fields with thousands of children with flies all over them. Okay? She wasn't worried about her pension. All right? So build your life. Have your passion. If it pays, this doesn't pay. There's maybe 20 volunteers that keep this radio station afloat. No one gets a dime, but they're there at 7 o'clock. That girl, Alicia, that he's talking about, I talk to her when I'm doing barn chores. 6 o'clock in the morning, her butt's in the big black chair playing 80s tunes. Why? Because she has a purpose and a passion. She's not worried about a pension. Farrah Gray says this, build your own dream or someone else will hire you to build theirs. Boom. I am a big proponent of owning your own business. I don't care how much vacation time you get. I don't care how many they add to your 401k. I don't care what seat they give you by the window. If you're working for someone, that someone, like the filers, yeah, they paid their people well, but their people weren't living in a 10,000 square foot house. So if you have a dream and you can hire people and enrich their lives, that's good. If you have an idea for a business, go for it. Don't let anybody, what did it say earlier about ignorant men shutting their mouths? That we learned from 1 Peter, right? It is by God's will that by doing good, you will silence the ignorant talk of foolish men. Not of men, of foolish men. Unfortunately, we're surrounded by them. Some of them are in the White House. In Washington, sorry. Nadia Comaneci, some of them have been in the White House. Nadia Comaneci, enjoy the journey, right? No matter how difficult. Enjoy the journey. Try to get better every day. Try to get better. She doesn't say you got to get better. Try to get better. And do not lose the love for what you do. Boom. Do you think it was easy for Tony Bennett to become the Tony Bennett that we know? No. I read a little bit about his life. There were a lot of gigs that didn't go well. There's a lot of people thought he couldn't sing. There was a lot of people, but his passion, his purpose, his love, and his God-given talent got him to become the great singer that we all know today. So Nadia Comaneci, the great gymnast, she's right. Okay, she's right. She says, don't let people tell you can't do anything, and don't lose your thing. I hate when a spam call comes in the middle of the show. All right, here's the takeaway. Hopefully everybody heard Nadia Comaneci. Here's the takeaway, and it's from Tony Bennett. It sounds so simple, but if you just be yourself, you're different than anyone else. Boom. That's what we talk about this show. Be yourself, everyone's saying. Let me read that again because that call was coming in. It sounds so simple, but if you just be yourself, you're different than anyone else. Bing, bang, boom. The great Tony Bennett lived a life of purpose. You can live a life of purpose and passion too. You don't have to become a famous singer. You don't have to become a famous writer. You don't have to become a famous sports hero. You're already famous because God created all of you for a purpose. There is a time, right? We talked about that song. There is a time for every purpose under heaven. You are part of that purpose. You can dream, not exist. You have that spirit that's in you. You can become meek and inspire all as Jesus did. You are special. Find your passion. Look silly at McDonald's and find out what really turns you on. Jock, you want to tie a bow? Because I want to get to that song.
Well, I got to tell you, T-Boz, it's awesome. Hold on one second.
Oh, it must be the girl from Toho calling me back. Night and day.
No, actually, I'm having an issue here with my headphones. However, it's sometimes I know that the listeners get obviously get a lot from your presentations, but there are times when your presentations definitely impact me, and I think today was one of those times. And you have to be careful too, because sometimes you can have a passion and you might have to really guard that passion, because the world can try to maybe take that passion away from you by discouraging you, by taking away opportunities, not recognizing what skills or talents you bring to the table to substantiate that passion. So, and then too, you have to be realistic about your passion. And I think that in understanding what it is you really want to focus on, and what you really want to make your life's pursuit upon, you have to examine that very carefully, because not every passion is your purpose. When your passion and your purpose line up, then it's a great thing. So it requires a little bit of self-reflection, and I think that's always a good thing as well. But to have a passion and not being able to express that passion, I think is something that we all want to try to avoid to some degree. But having the support of other people who understand your passion is just as important as well. So I think it's all in the mix. At the end of the day, it's about how you communicate that and how you turn it into a reality. So once again, you knock it out of the park, and it's another reason why I'm so glad to be able to have this segment on my show here at WAPJ. So hats off to you, sir.
Thank you. I enjoyed doing this show. I thank you for the opportunity. And those of you who are at Toho Lounge, I was the guy holding Jock's cape. So, but anyway, all kidding aside, we have a lot of fun doing this. We enjoy doing it. We also like to be out socially. There's a couple of times now Jock was at our table at Toho Lounge, and great entertainment. So I enjoy doing the show. I hope the people enjoy it. Again, you don't have to agree with everything I say. You don't have to like everything I say. But if whatever I say makes you think, makes you get passionate about something, you're on the right track. Now, let's get to that song. Friday Eve. I know it's hot. It'll be Labor Day in a month. Get out there, sit by the pool, sit under a tree, drink the lemonade, and enjoy. Summer is almost over. Thank you. Song. Bye-bye, everyone.